Sportsnet, part of the NBC Sports Group.
Last night, Matt Cain learned you can only obtain perfection with a little help from your friends.
There's a deep drive by Chris Snyder. Cabrera will catch it at the wall.
And this is hit out into the alleyway. A long run for Blanco, and Blanco's going to dive, and he makes the catch! One ball and two strikes. On the ground, Arias from deep third, got him! And that's a perfect game! Matt Cain pitched the game of his life last night, and it was simply perfect. Afternoon baseball here at AT&T Park. We got a beautiful afternoon to wrap up this three-game series, Astros and Giants. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dwayne Kuiper. Alongside me is John Miller. Mike will join us tomorrow night in Seattle. Well, look, I don't know how you top a perfect game, and maybe you can't. But the one thing the Giants can do today, John, is if they win, they can sweep these Astros. And they're playing pretty good baseball right now.
Yeah, and that's the big picture aspect of it. The Giants have had a lot of games against teams down in the standings here lately, and they've done well. They've now won 8 out of 9 in that stretch against the Cubs, the Padres, and here against the Astros. So they want to keep that going because they got a tough road trip upcoming. Buster Posey will not be behind the plate. Bochy thought about maybe putting him at first base with the left-hander Wandy Rodriguez on the mound, but he also thinks that Buster was a little more tired than he normally would have been because of the tension, the pressure that was on him last night, calling the perfect game, a game where Cain never shook him off the entire night. So Buster gets a well-deserved break today. Sanchez behind the plate, but he also likes the way that Brandon Belt has started to hit the ball. And as Bochy said, he always has had a rule: if you hit a home run, then you're in there the next day. So Belt has homered in each of the last 2 games, and last night he homered against a left-hander.
Wandy Rodriguez on the hill for the Astros. All right, when we come back, Amy G is going to take a look at a wonderful night last night. And it's going to be probably all about Matt Cain, I'm guessing. So Amy G with that right after this.
Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Toyota, check out the great deals at your local Toyota dealer today. And by Big O Tires, tires, service, straight talk. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
What better to follow a perfect night at AT&T Park than a perfect day in the Bay Area? It is gorgeous outside this afternoon. The Giants getting set for their final game in this three-game series against the Houston Astros. It's going to be a little difficult to concentrate today. Welcome back to AT&T Park. I'm Amy Gutierrez because, well, Matt Cain, he made history last night, becoming the Giants' very first pitcher in franchise history to pitch a perfect game, and it is well worth a second look. It's our AT&T U vs. Reverse replay this afternoon. He started off a little out of the ordinary with his warm-up. Yep, swinging a golf club, representing for the U.S. Open this week. So when he was ready to take the mound, he was nice and loose, and from pitch one, you knew Matt had electric stuff. The defense behind him all evening, stellar. His wife, Chelsea Kane, looking on, wearing it with him every pitch. The crowd was amazing. And they did it. Celebrating, loving every minute of it. Getting an autograph there, Lucille, and dousing Matt Cain. The guys couldn't wait to do that. And his wife couldn't wait to give him a hug. See him and give him some love. Congratulations to Matt Cain. Now, in case you missed last night's game, you got another shot at catching the perfect game. Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area will re-air the game tonight at 7:30, so set your DVR. All right, Giants have work to do. Game 3 coming up shortly in this three-game series, but first we're going to check in with our Comcast Sportsnet studios for an update, so stay with us.
The final game of this series. Our game time weather is brought to you by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. Temperature is 64 degrees, winds at 11 miles per hour, humidity at 75%, and it is very nice. All right, let's take a quick look at the Astros lineup that'll face Barry Zito. It'll go like this. It'll be Altuve, Bixler, and then Jed Lowry, followed by J.D. Martinez, who's had 9 RBIs in his career against the Giants in 9 games. Maxwell will hit 5th, followed by Johnson Downs, and then Castro, the local kid, he'll hit 8th, followed by Wandy Rodriguez. Barry Zito making his 13th start. In 2011, Zito beat the Astros twice in 3 starts. In lifetime, he's 3-2 against Houston, but overall having a very fine season. You can see 5-3 with a very good ERA at 3.24. Talking about really one of the young stars already in this league, and Jose Altuve hitting at 321, 4 home runs, 22 RBIs. Defensively, playing behind Zito, it will be Cabrera, Pagan, and Blanco in the outfield, 3 center fielders. Sandoval, Arias, Terrio, and Belt from 3rd to 1st, and Hector Sanchez doing his duties, catching Barry Zito. All right, we got a very nice day. Sit back and enjoy this one wherever you are. And here to tell you about it is John Miller.
All right, thanks, Kipe. And Altuve to lead off. And Zito is a little bit low. .64 degrees, as Kipe mentioned. The game time temperature here at AT&T Park and on the shores of McCovey Cove, San Francisco Bay. Sandoval pulled in shallow at 3rd, and that's a base hit to left field.
You hear the crowd? You know what they're all saying? There goes the perfect game.
All right, who jinxed him?
Oh, everybody groaning and thinking the same thing. Boy, we get spoiled, don't we? Us folks here in San Francisco.
Well, and the fact of the matter is, part of what was so amazing about what Kane did last night is the Astros have several guys who can hit.
Oh, absolutely.
And chief among them is Altuve, who came into this game after his hitless night last night, hitting .321, among the top hitters in the National League, as Zito misses low to Bixler. Melky Cabrera leads the National League in batting average. Altuve is number 9 in the league. So there's Altuve, who also can steal a base. Zito will have to keep an eye on it. And he got Bixler looking a little over anxious there, chasing a fastball that was out of the strike zone off the outside. Altuve has 11 steals this year. And the Astros, they were doing a lot of running whenever they had a base runner in the early innings against Bumgarner 2 nights ago. 1-1 the count. The middle infield pulled in a bit, double play depth. That's hit a little softly to be a double play. Terrio will get the short out at first as Altuve moves over to second. So a productive out, so-called, for Bixler.
You know, John, as soon as Zito gave up the base hit, I was thinking about some of the oddities of the game last night with Kane driving home. And how many times do you hear Mike or somebody else say, you know, you got to get that guy into the stretch? Not one time was he in the stretch last night.
Not one time. And the enormity of it, I think, is still sort of percolating in the brain of Matt Cain right now.
Absolutely.
Here's Jed Lowry, runner at second. 1 out, and Lowry takes a called strike with a fastball. Lowry's the home run leader for the Astros. 12 homers, 28 batted in, a .279 average. There are the numbers, 125 pitches for the perfect game. Most of them, more than 2/3 of them, strikes. He only had 4 full counts. And of the 27 hitters, a first pitch strike to 19 of them. And there's the big curve from Zito. Strike 2 called.
7 strikeouts swinging, 7 looking. So it was really a combination of him just having perfect location for the entire ball game.
Runner in scoring position here for Lowry. Another curveball. Whoa.
I think Lowry thought that was a strike.
Everybody in the park, I think, except for Mike Malinsky, the plate umpire, seemed to think that was a strike.
Well, it was a strike.
Well, the old adage is that hitters get fooled on curveballs, and sometimes umpires get fooled too.
Yeah. Maybe why Malinsky is an umpire. He couldn't hit the curveball.
That may be more true than we realize. 1-2 the count.
Couldn't hit it. Can't call it.
Angel Campos at first, Brian Runge at second, Ted Barrett at third. Ironically, Brian Runge worked the other perfect game that was pitched this year. He worked it behind the plate.
Yep.
When Phil Umber of the White Sox pitched one. I think that was it late April?
Yep.
At that time. And Umber for the White Sox pitched the perfect game in Seattle. And the changeup down and away. And it's 2-2 to Jed Lowry. J.D. Martinez on deck. I watched the 9th inning of Umber's no-hitter in a taxi cab driving down the West Side Highway along the Hudson River with the MLB app.
Absolutely.
I'm sitting in a taxi cab in New York City watching a perfect game live on my phone. That's off the outside. And now it's a 3-2 count to Lowry. Matt Cain with that perfect game last night, and I asked him before the game today how much sleep he got. He said, well, some.
Yeah, a little tough to go right to sleep after something like that.
Well, there was Terrio playing him almost up the middle, and talk about perfect defensive positioning as Altuve goes to third, 2 down.
Well, here's our Ford right choice. This is what John was talking about. Last night's umpire, their resumes: Ted Barrett, first umpire to work behind the plate for 2 perfect games. David Cohn and Matt Cain. 5th career no-hitter, 3rd this season. Brian Runge, home plate umpire for Jonathan Sanchez against the Padres. 5th career no-hitter, 3rd this season.
Wow. So when they say that 3rd this season behind home plate, or just the 3rd that they've worked? Just that they've worked on the crew.
In that crew.
High pop-up, and Terrio Arias is going to be Arias. And the inning is over. Zito gives up the leadoff single, strands the runner. The Giants coming up.
Let's see what Bruce Bochy did with his lineup today. It'll be Blanco, Terrio, and Melky Cabrera. See his last 22 games. Red hot, also very red hot against lefties. Pagan, Sandoval, so 3-4 switch hitters in a row with Hector Sanchez, followed by Belt, Arias, and then Barry Zito. Juan Rodriguez, he would be the ace of this staff. See his record 5-4 with a very good 3.27 ERA. This will be his 14th start. He's lifetime 2-2 against the Giants, and he did beat them last year. He shut them out in 8 innings, striking out 8.
So he's had success against the Giants. However, there's always a however somewhere.
Yeah.
This is the first time he's ever faced the Giants here.
That's a good however.
All of his starts previously against the Giants have come in Houston. Blanco ran up as if to chop the bunt to short, but took the pitch, and it was called a strike. They're pulled in at the corners. The third baseman Johnson, the first baseman Downs. 374 on base percentage for Gregor Blanco, who hit his 4th home run of the year last night. He was the 3rd Giant to go deep. I heard a caller calling Marty Lurie last night driving home on KNBR. Well, he swings at that one. If it had been fair, it would have been a home run, a bunt home run.
Yep. He's got one of those, a double this year. Remember, he did it in San Diego.
He did. 1 ball and 2 strikes. But the caller was talking about all the aspects of the game that were perfect for the Giants last night. About Matt Cain. And then finally he said, and the score 10-0. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Perfect 10.
Yeah. That was good. I heard it too. And I was a little upset that I hadn't thought of that.
I was thinking, man, let's get back and open up a microphone.
Defensively for the Astros, behind Juan Rodriguez, it'll be Martinez, Maxwell, and Bixler in the outfield from left to right. Johnson, Lowry, Altuve, and the former Giant Matt Downs at first, and Castro will do the catching. Jason Castro from Castro Valley,
and who made the final out last night. And a very nice play by Joaquin Arias to get him. Terrio hitting 260. 1 out, nobody on, no score here in the last of the first. I talked to 100 people here at the park today about the ball that Chris Snyder hit in the 6th inning, including Matt Cain. Left center field. And that's going to go to the wall. Martinez could not quite get it. Terrio eases into second with a double. Fifth double of the year for Ryan Terrio.
Well, ownage is ownage. 11 for 37 with 4 doubles lifetime against Rodriguez. And Terrio shoots this one by Martinez. For a second, it looked like Martinez was going to get there. And with our Exmo brought to you by your local Toyota dealer, you can see he nearly pulled off a marvelous catch.
Here's Melky Cabrera. He hit a 2-run homer in the first last night to put Cain ahead right away. 367, the best batting average in Major League Baseball at the start of this day. 1 ball and no strikes.
So what'd you find out about Snyder's ball?
Everybody said they thought it was going to go out. Right. And Matt Cain said, oh, there was no question in my mind that was gone. He crushed it. And Angel Pagan came back in the dugout when the inning was over and told everybody tonight, you can't believe what that ball did. It was gone and the wind pushed it back.
Really?
It was 10 rows deep and the wind pushed it back.
Wow. So it was one of those nights for Matt Cain.
So Blanco said the same thing from right field. And the curveball from Rodriguez. And that's his signature pitch. He got a great curveball.
I called the Snyder ball the Ian Kinsler moment. Remember the ball he hit off of Cain in the World Series?
Off the top of the wall.
It was an Ian Kinsler moment.
Well, it was very close to being the only earned run that Cain allowed in that entire postseason.
Well, when he hit it, it had the right sound. And I think everybody just thought that, well, they're on the board. And then Melky Cabrera just kind of slid along the wall.
And Bruce Bochy pointed out the way Melky went along the wall there kind of showed you that the wind was playing tricks with that ball. It went to an entirely different spot than where Melky had judged that it was headed. Wind blowing out toward left here today. 3-2 to the Milkman. He's 2 for 4 lifetime against Wandy Rodriguez. And he draws a walk. 2 men on with 1 man out, and Pagan coming up. Well, maybe you weren't able to watch the perfect game last night. It will be re-aired tonight and next Thursday, 7:30. Next Thursday is a day off for the Giants in the schedule. So tonight at 7:30 and next Thursday, June 21st at 7:30 on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Maybe get your DVR going.
I watched the last 2 innings last night when I got home.
The tension and the excitement was palpable. The tension was just too much. And for me, the shots that our guys, Jim Lynch, Jeff Kuiper, got of Chelsea Kane. I told Madison, I fell in love with your wife last night. That is just foul. 2 strikes to Pagan. Because those shots were so poignant. And he said, yeah, she wears her feelings on her sleeve.
Yeah. Well,
you can say it.
When watching her watch him being interviewed when he was in the dugout, and then when he gave her a hug, it was one of those hugs where they hung on for a long time.
They did. As if to say, you're just the person I wanted to see.
Yeah, it was like maybe the first time they met. Well, maybe not the first time, but.
And that's Ryan Vogelsong alongside Matt Cain. And last night, the woman that was alongside Chelsea Kane when Chelsea Kane in the stands was Ryan Vogelsong's wife.
And Madison Bumgarner's wife was right behind Chelsea.
Nicole Vogelsong was the one we saw, kept putting her hand on her shoulder and kind of giving her pep talks and whatnot. She was just so tense, and then she wanted to be excited when something good would happen. At the same time, the tension was just still there. Madison Bumgarner. So what? I guess the starters' wives all sit together.
It sure looked like they were kind of hanging in that area, didn't it?
1-2 the count.
Well,
to Pagan.
It was hard for Bumgarner to get trumped on his start.
It really was.
But he did.
One of the great starts of any Giants pitcher this year and in a long, long while. But it gives him something to aspire to.
He did say today he hit a home run in his game.
Oh, so true.
Yeah.
Looked like Kane tried to hit one in his game last night in the 8th inning.
I asked Bumgarner that, and he said, well, why not? It was his night.
Chelsea Kane with Nicole Vogelsong alongside. This is the last out. She's thrilled, relieved, and trying to hold off the tears. That is just foul.
Well, a lot like if you're playing third base with Barry Zito. There you see the moment where Amy G got interrupted with this hug. And that was it for the interview.
It was over.
It was over.
Sort of the perfect ending for the interview, as it turned out.
Amy was like, I can't bust that up.
Chelsea, excuse me.
That would be bad.
I was right in the middle of something with your husband. Just give us a moment.
Oh, my goodness.
Chario at second and Cabrera at first with 1 out. The battle continuing between Pagan and Wandy Rodriguez.
And I thought Amy did a great job. I think she asked all the right questions.
Excellent job. She got something totally unexpected, totally candid out of Kane when he first walked down there to her, and she told him that he was the first Giant ever to pitch one, a perfect game. that is just foul again. He's closing in on a fair ball along that third base line.
Well, it was funny. Johnson just now moved to stand on the line.
He is standing right on the line over there.
You got some of the Giants guys chuckling over there.
Might not be a bad idea. But Amy told him this, and Matt Cain just had the moment where he was so astonished by that and just said, whoa, wow. Pagan is called out on strikes. McDonald's True Stories. Matt Cain inside the perfect game. The 22nd perfect game in the history of Major League Baseball, going back to 1876. The first ever for the Giants to go all the way back to 1883. The 14th no-hitter in all that time of any kind, but the first perfect game. 10 runs of support and 125 pitches thrown. Both are the most in any of those perfect games. And he tied Sandy Koufax with the 14 strikeouts for the most in a perfect game. Sandy Koufax in 1965. Pablo drives one into deep center, but there is Maxwell. And the inning is over. Promising chance for the Giants. 2 left. On to the second.
Is brought to you by GoPro, the world's most versatile HD camera. Be a hero. GoPro.
No score as we head to the second inning. It's a little hazy, but still just a gorgeous day, beautiful day for our blimp shots. A lot going on. All the golf at the Olympic Club with the U.S. Open.
Plus, there's a lot of traffic today in the Bay Area.
Yeah, we had some problems on the bridge. We had some BART issues, so it was a little tough getting to the park today.
So I think people had issues getting to work who normally would take BART from the East Bay.
Well, maybe even here.
And I think there are a lot of people use BART to come over from the East Bay to AT&T Park. Not today, though.
Giants have 4 players that live in the Orinda, Walnut Creek area, and they had a rough go today.
Justin Maxwell facing Zito. That is just foul. Ted Barrett, the third base umpire, on top of the play. 1 ball and 1 strike. And Hector Sanchez runs out to talk to Barry Zito meanwhile.
Well, Dave Clark isn't so sure.
Third base coach for Houston, Dave Clark. And Brad Mills started to come up out of the dugout as well. I don't know, Dave Clark signaling to Brad Mills, maybe? No, he showed me where it landed. He was right.
Yeah.
From up here, it looked like it landed right on the foul line.
Yeah, it did.
A ball and a strike to count. Everybody seems satisfied now, though.
You know, I was about to say in the last half inning with Zito and Wandy Rodriguez, both these guys in that slow curveball. This is where, if you're a third baseman, you better got your rest the night before.
Could be a busy day at third base. Sanchez back, but it is in amongst the spectators. 2-2. Maxwell, then Chris Johnson and Matt Downs, three right-handed hitters, each with some power to start the inning for the Astros. You know, we mentioned Sandy Koufax, the legendary great left-hander of the Dodgers, Hall of Famer Sandy Koufax, who was just a shining star for a 4-year period. He won 97 games in a 4-year stretch. That's deep into left center, but the wrong part of this park to hit it. A little notch out there where the left field wall meets the center field wall is 404 feet from home plate. One away. Chris Johnson comes up. 421 to that big gap over here in right center, and over here to left center 404. It's actually, you have a better shot for a home run if you hit it to dead straightaway center. But Koufax had 14 strikeouts in his perfect game against the Cubs in '65. And the legendary Vin Scully broadcast that game on the radio in LA. And for years, the only record of that game, it was not televised, was Vin Scully asking the radio station to put a tape up and record the ninth inning. And if Koufax got the perfect game, they could give it to him as a keepsake of the event. And otherwise, there wouldn't have been any tape or record of that one at all.
That's not right.
But it also ended up being the fabulous broadcast. But when he wrapped it up, he said, Koufax, whose name will always remind you of strikeouts, tonight did it with a flourish. He struck out the last 6 in a row and 14 in the game.
Wow.
2 down.
All right, let's check in with Amy G.
Well, Dwayne, Brandon Belt was anything but awkward last night when he gracefully and smoothly placed the baseball in his back pocket after the Giants recorded the final out of Matt Cain's perfect game. I spoke to him about today. He said it was on his mind in that final 9th inning. What am I going to do with the ball should it come to me for the final out? Now listen though, we think that this is a wash. Brandon thought that he might get a car or a Rolex or something for giving Matt the ball. But earlier in the game, he sat in Matt Cain's seat in the dugout. Matt just kind of hovered over him, didn't say anything, but Brandon said if he could have, he would have said, I'm disappointed, Brandon. So we think it's all good though. He got him the ball, forgiven about where he sat in the dugout. Gentlemen.
There's a story behind the story as Matt Downs has hit a home run for the Astros' first run since Tuesday night. Matt Downs, a former Giant, ironically. So it is 1-0 Houston.
Well, let's see the location. It's a hanger, and Matt Downs, in this particular case, knew what to do with it. Just for a second, Cabrera kind of chased it a little bit, but that was a good 10 rows back.
From up here, you usually get a good idea. Plus, we have microphones down on the backstop. We get the sound of the bat meeting the ball. And usually, the combination of hearing it and watching it leave the bat, we get an idea. But then we pick up the outfielder because he'll always tell you if he's got a shot at it. And he started back, as you say, but then he knew, nope, no point. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Jason Castro, former Castro Valley High School star, and then Stanford. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Castro. 1-2 the count, and just off the outside. 2-2. Anyway, Matt Cain, the Koufax story, Matt Cain with his 14 strikeouts, and he and Koufax on that list of 22 perfect games, they're the only ones who had 14 strikeouts in theirs. Struck him out. 1-0 Houston. Hector Sanchez coming up.
Eric's Deli Cafe. Only when the salty and sweet are perfectly balanced is harmony achieved. Sandwiches and more with character.
One nothing Houston as we go to the last of the second from AT&T Park. I'm John Miller along with Dwayne Kuiper. Dave Fleming, who's over on radio right now, will be along a little bit later. Mike Krukow on assignment.
On assignment.
We were not going to let him come back until a Giants pitcher gave up a hit. So it looks like he's clear now to be back tomorrow.
Or not unless the pitcher threw a perfect game.
That was a little hard to believe. That is when he had a little time off. All the games that he has played in, been there for, broadcast, going back to when, 1983?
83.
With the Giants. And the one time that there was a perfect game, that's when he had the day off.
Yep. I will say this, though. The first text that all three of us received after the perfect game came from him.
It really did. And it was a beautiful comment as well. Much appreciated.
Yep, absolutely.
Giants and Dodgers rivalry coming to San Francisco for the first time this year. A week from Monday, June 25th. Monday and Tuesday night games at 7:15, and the 25th and 26th, and the Wednesday day game on June 27th at 12:45. Tickets available, but I wouldn't wait a whole lot longer to get yours at sfgiants.com. The Dodgers 3.5 ahead of the Giants right now in the National League West. And it won't be long, you wouldn't think, too much longer before Matt Kemp. I'm thinking from what they were projecting at the beginning of his time on the disabled list, that right around the end of June they were hoping to get him back.
Right. So it's got to coincide with when the Giants are going to play them, correct?
As soon as we heard that, we looked at the schedule and said, well, I think we know when that will be.
By the way, just read you the text that we got from Mike. Wish I would have been there and wish you guys were dead.
Mine was a little different than that.
Oh, well, my goodness.
So at first he had a few negative thoughts about the fact that he wasn't here and we were.
Well, then I must have not seen the other one.
Brandon Belt, and a little bit off the end of the bat and caught by Maxwell in center, out number 2. Well, this was a big story here in the city, as you might imagine. Front page of the Chronicle. Matt Cain has the best night of his life. It's the Giants' first ever perfect game. The first page of the Sporting Green. Underrated pitcher gets recognition at long last. The Examiner, perfect. Cain retires all 27 Astros. First such gem in Giants history. And that's really where that becomes a keepsake if you're a Giants fan. Yep. There must have been a million copies of the Examiner that are in people's homes, and the Chronicle and whatever, from the day of the parade.
Yep.
And the day the Giants won the World Series. The day after that picture of Lincecum up on the shoulders of his teammates down in Texas.
Well, we landed that after the Giants won in Texas, we probably landed around 4:30, and in my car, as I was driving home, I stopped at 3 different paper machines and I couldn't find any. They were already gone by then.
Up the middle, and Arias for the base hit. 2-down single here in the second against Wandy Rodriguez. 1-0. The Astros are leading. 2 down, and Barry Zito will come up. I'm still trying to find one myself.
I know.
Then I thought, hey, we lived it. Right. We broadcast it.
Or they're going to do it again sometime soon.
Yeah. Next time I'll get one. Strike 1 to Barry Zito. Zito, 2 hits, 22 at bats for the year. 1-0. The Astros are leading in the last of the second inning. Giants will be in Seattle starting tomorrow night. 9-game interleague road trip. They'll need a DH 9 straight times. And it looks like Aubrey Huff, they were talking about Aubrey Huff being a DH, at least for many of those. But Huff apparently got injured last night, vaulting himself over the railing from the dugout to jump into that celebration after the perfect game. And went out for an MRI today. 0-2 to Zito.
Zito will get hits with this swing. It's not pretty. And it's just not really pretty at all.
There. That one didn't work. It was better when he hit it foul. 60-foot putt by Zito, and really just approaching.
Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by Heffernan Insurance Brokers. Insurance and financial services for you and your business. Visit HEFINS.com.
Welcome back to AT&T Park. The Giants trailing the Astros 1-0 as we head to the third inning on this spectacular San Francisco day. Now give me that camera. I want to be on TV. I'm a Giants fan, you know.
She says, okay, now the flying guy is more interesting.
Start them young.
Good hands.
Third inning. Dwayne Kuiper.
All right, John, it'll be the pitcher, Wandy Rodriguez, to lead things off, and he will look at a strike. It's interesting for Rodriguez and for Zito. If they want to see what their curveball looks like, they're seeing it coming from the opposite number. Sandoval, he's got a little time, and he'll throw out Rodriguez. Hangar 1, made here in San Francisco, California, is providing aerial coverage from their very own blimp. We're glad they're back.
Adds a lot, especially from this ballpark in this city.
You know, and it even added a lot to some of the shots of the perfect game. And the one that really was an interesting shot was the last play where you had to see how far Arias had to go to the line to make the play. Here's Altuve. And the players coming out of the dugout for the celebration. I'm really glad it was here last night.
It was the best relationship shot that really showed you how far off the line he was, how far over he had to go.
Altuve shows bunt and takes low. Now, some of the other shots that were really good where you could see he stumbled a little bit. You're not going to get that from the blimp shot, but everything else was fantastic.
Because I think it would have been easy otherwise to overlook how far he had to go just to get there. At the end, though, I think the best thing for him was that it was a catcher running, because he did back up to get that true hop. He didn't want to get handcuffed. But a lot of times at third base, when you're that deep to begin with, you back up and you've missed your chance to throw him out.
You know, there's another way of looking at that play. It very well could have been a play where it would be easier to backhand it.
They go right over and get in front of it like that.
And Sanchez thought he had another strikeout as he was ready to throw the ball to Sandoval. But if you backhand it and miss it, there's a chance that the official score could rule it a hit.
Well, that's a good point, too.
So the fact that he got in front of it, it would either have been an out or an error. In tight to Altuve, it's 3-2.
Well, Ron Wotus, who works with the Giants infielders on their defense, and not just their positioning, but some of the basics about how to play that position. And he said that Arias knew who the runner was before the pitch was ever thrown. So he knew that he had that little extra time because it was a catcher. And he also thought that because he's had a little stiffness in his arm for what, 10 days, 12 days, or he had it, but he made a throw flat-footed from deep third and had something on it.
It was an all-arm throw.
And Wotus thought maybe the adrenaline kind of takes over this time like that.
Well, Altuve providing a tough at bat now against Zito. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Downs, Matt Downs, the former Giant, a solo home run in the second, and that's where we stand. 1-0 Houston. Brian Bixler is on deck. 37 pitches for Zito. And now Altuve will step out. 3-2. And the walk. This is the shot we're talking about on the last out. Watch how far Arias has to go. And now with that little stumble or that little step he took, he's nearly on the line.
And then everybody was out of the dugout so quickly to jump on the back of Matt Cain. Now, one of the things I was thinking about last night was how many other games Cain has pitched this year that were outstanding. That you might even say he was just as good in a couple of those games as he was last night. And one of them was opening day here against the Pirates. You may recall he pitched a one-hitter. The opposing pitcher, James McDonald, had the only hit, just a little ground ball into left field. He faced only one hitter over the minimum in that game. And then he had that memorable night against the Phillies and Cliff Lee here, where they matched zeros.
Yep.
And the Giants pinch hit for Cain in the bottom of the 9th. And Bochy felt compelled to do it because Cain was leading off the inning, thinking this we get somebody on, maybe we can squeeze across a run here and get a win for Cain. But he pitched 9 innings, only allowed 2 hits in that one, and got no decision. The Giants did win it, and then Lee, who pitched brilliantly that night, ended up going on the disabled list the next day.
Yep. I think the difference, John, in some of those games you're talking about was last night. It was the strikeouts.
That's a big difference. That's right.
You know, he had 4 strikeouts in that opening game, and that's down low. And now it's 3-0, and Zito's about ready to walk himself into some trouble. Altuve is at first with 1 out. And a strike, and it's 3-1. Cain's high in strikeouts. I think prior to that was 10. You know, you really don't consider Matt Cain a strikeout guy. And the walk, and now Zito has walked the leadoff hitter, and Bixler. Well, the U.S. Open live from the Olympic Club, comprehensive team coverage all this week on NBC, the Golf Channel, and Comcast Sportsnet. Live coverage of the event will happen on NBC. In-depth previews and recaps on the Golf Channel, and comprehensive local coverage every night on Chronicle Live, Sportsnet Central, and Sports Reports on NBC Bay Area from Comcast Sportsnet.
All part of the NBC Sports Group.
Low to Lowry.
And he's walked 2 guys in front of the Astros' top power hitter.
And another power hitter on deck. So Zito looking for the double play ball.
And he's capable of getting one. He's got a ball that gets hit on the ground a lot. That was it. The guy laid off. $12 home runs for Lowry. No other shortstop in the majors has as many. J.J. Hardy of Baltimore is number 2. Just right behind him with 11.
And both good home ballparks to hit home runs in.
Camden Yards, kind of a cozy home run hitter's ballpark. This one looks like it would, a left-handed hitter would feast, but the winds make it life difficult, especially for left-handed power hitters here.
3-0. Zito gets the ball back, rubs it up. Some groaning here from our folks at AT&T Park.
Tough hitter against left-handed pitching on deck, J.D. Martinez.
And that's a walk. So Zito all of a sudden is out of sync. He thought he had Altuve struck out. Later on went on to walk him. Bixler walks. Lowry walks. And it's never ever a good idea to walk the first 3 hitters right before the cleanup hitter comes up.
That would be a violation, I think.
And a major violation. Now Martinez had a good swing on Zito in the first inning, but he popped out to Joaquin Arias.
Martinez had never faced Zito until today, so they have no previous history. But we know last year when Martinez first came along, he just wore out left-handers. He struggled this year most of the time, but he has been at his best against lefties, even so.
And a strike.
Got a cutter in there. Martinez has also been an excellent RBI man for the Astros. He has knocked in 33 runs. Best on the club.
He's got Altuve, Bixler, and Lowry on base, and the 0-1 count coming up. And that's a bomb. And that is gone. And it's a grand slam, and it's 5-0. And now the bullpen's starting to get loose. Let me repeat what I said before. It's never a good idea to walk 3 in front of the cleanup hitter.
Well, there's wildness, as in walking people, and then there's wildness in the strike zone. And when you put the 2 together, that's not going to be good. Look where this one goes. Catcher on the inside and a little bit more toward the middle of the plate. And J.D. Martinez did not miss it. Halfway up in the bleachers.
That was a big fly. Here's Maxwell. Maxwell takes the strike from our blimp. Gone. Maxwell with a mighty cut.
Shane Lukes, the right-hander, warming up in the Giants bullpen.
Yeah, Amy's section.
We heart Amy.
And Maxwell out swinging. So 2 outs. The thing that'll unnerve Zito, Dave Bergetti, the manager, is you can live with the home run. Downs hit a solo home run on the second. It's hard to live with one after you walk 3. Here's Chris Johnson, who hits this one off the end of the bat foul.
Martinez came into this game hitting only .226 for the year, but with runners in scoring position just under 300. That's been his spot. He elevates his game.
Out into center field for Pagan. That's going to end the inning, and Zito's going to be disappointed when he walks off the mound. Giants have some work to do. They trail 5-0.
On Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by Provident Credit Union. Provident Credit Union's Super Reward Checking is better than free. They pay you.
Here's Blanco as he takes a strike. Wander Rodriguez now has the luxury of a 5-run lead. It'll be Blanco, Terrio, and Cabrera. Blanco opened up the bottom of the first inning with a strikeout. Two balls and a strike. And it's 3-1. So the Giants will take a runner, 2 runners, 3 runners, any possible way they can. And this is a little pop-up. Lowry got a pretty good jump at it, and he will track it down. And let's check in with Amy G.
Hey, Dwayne, the Giants have proudly partnered with PG&E this season for their Green Tour program. PG&E hosts tours here at the park for various schools around the Bay Area, showing off the Giants' sustainability programs. And they recently visited with Greg Elliott, the Giants' head grounds crew keeper, and his crew. They do a lot of things, guys, keeping the grass green by being green. They do not use machinery. They drag the field by hand. They also compost all of the grass clippings. They do a bunch of stuff. It's pretty cool. Good job. Nice job, PG&E, giving the tour. Dwayne?
Very nice. Very nice. Terrio shoots this one out to center field. Maxwell will track it down. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Melky Cabrera. Cabrera drew a walk in the first inning. A 4-run top of the third. And Cabrera tried to duck it, and I think it worked. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Cabrera lifetime against Wandy Rodriguez, 2 for 4, both hits doubles. See, Melk does the body good, and this is fouled out of play. In the game yesterday, Cabrera went 2 for 5. He got hits in his first 2 at bats. Also knocked in a couple of runs. One of the hits a home run. There's a strike, and it's 1-2.
Keipe, through the scorebook, we're talking about Matt Cain and his strikeout totals. But he had that 1-hitter opening day here. He had 11 strikeouts. 4 in the game against Cliff Lee, the 9 shutout innings. And he also had a 10 strikeout game against the Brewers when they were here. So it was the 3rd time this year he's hit double figures in strikeouts, which is close to the best, the highest number of times he's done that in a season in his career. I think it's 10 times total in his entire career that he's done it.
Here's the payoff pitch to Melky Cabrera. And Cabrera will send it down the right field line, a souvenir.
When he was a young guy, Matt Cain, and he was coming in throwing 95, 96 mile an hour fastballs, there were guys he just simply overpowered. And he could pitch for the strikeout, but he also had a lot of high pitch count games, and he's so much of a different pitcher now than he was then.
Down the right field line. Is this going to stay fair? In May it would have been.
What happened to May?
51 hits in May.
No. If he hit the ball, it was going to be a hit somewhere.
Right.
It would have been a 40 mile an hour wind blowing across out toward left field. It would have blown that one back onto the field fair.
So Melky will see another pitch. It's 3-2. And he got him. To a breaking ball. And that will end the inning. Dave Fleming will be in. John Miller will head over to the KNBR side here. It's 5-0 Houston. Yours truly is Dave Fleming. And Dave, quick question.
Yes.
Do you have perfect game hangover?
I do a little bit, I have to say. How about you?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I have perfect game hangover. I have packing hangover. I have Grand Slam hangover. Who is this hitting? It's Matt Downs. He hit a home run in the second.
Yes, he did.
And he may have another one. This is right down the line and foul. Downs did not run, and then he looked and he went, this one may have a shot. Just kind of clipped it down and in.
Late reaction. Oh, whoops. I might need to get going.
But that's actually pretty close. Slowly hit to Sandoval. Charging is Sandoval. He will throw on the run. Well, Friday, June 29th, the first annual Giants Garlic Festival in community partnership with the Gilroy Garlic Festival. Now you need a special ticket. Call 415-972-2298 or visit sfgiants.com/special events. The Rock. I love shots of The Rock.
It is looking good today in the sunshine. Still looks a little ominous to me every time I see it.
Yeah, it does. Here's Castro, who takes a strike.
Well, I do have to say, I went out to celebrate a bit after last night's game. I had a night on the town, got home late. I did not pack until this morning.
Right. Well, we'll be the judge of how you packed about 3 days into the trip.
Guaranteed I forgot about 8 things. Just a total guarantee.
Well, you forgot a tie this morning.
I forgot a tie, forgot a pullover. And that probably is just the beginning of it.
Well, I did not go out. Oh, I did. I went out in my backyard. As Castro is out swinging.
Well, our trivia question here this afternoon brought to you by AT&T. Last night, second time in Major League Baseball history, perfect game and a one-hitter occurred on the same day. Who were the pitchers the first time? And I think we can give everyone a hint. 2004. I could give an even bigger hint.
No, you get to send to the woodshed.
Oh. Okay.
Mike and I did that a couple of times.
One hint per question.
When we got the memo.
I see.
And we couldn't guess either.
Yeah, I won't be guessing. I do know the answer, yeah.
Jeff is telling us it's not an announcer quiz.
That's kind of a hard question, though. We're just trying to help our fans out.
Pagan now starts to speed it up a little bit, and he will track it down to end the inning. Quick inning. Giants need to get something going, and Pagan will lead things off.
transmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of San Francisco Baseball Associates, LP.
All right, let's answer our trivia question brought to you by AT&T. The question: last night, second time in Major League Baseball history, perfect game and a one-hitter on the same day. Who are the pitchers the first time? We gave you the hint back in 2004. Jason Schmidt, an unbelievable performance that night at Wrigley Field against the Cubs for the Giants, but not quite as good as Randy Johnson's perfect game in Atlanta for the Diamondbacks, May 18th, 2004. If I'm not mistaken, Kite.
Pagan hammers it to center field. Maxwell. Yes.
Was that not the game where Schmidt, I think the only hit he gave up was an infield hit, one single infield hit, and I think he threw about 140 some pitches to get through the game. Felipe Alou was tempted to bring him out, but he was just so dominant, kept him in, and he finished the whole thing off.
Well, he had some dominant games. Remember the one against the Red Sox?
That same year, that same summer, really just a few weeks later. He had 2 one-hit shutouts in about a month.
Here's Sandoval. Sandoval takes a strike.
I think that the one hit the Red Sox got in that game you're talking about was Kevin Youkilis, who was a rookie.
I think you're right. Sandoval hit a fly ball to center field. He rolls this one foul. He had a good night last night where he went 3 for 4.
One thing you and I will never forget about some of those Jason Schmidt starts, and it was particularly fun in interleague play. The Red Sox guys that day, our broadcast colleagues, kept coming into our booth saying that 90 mile an hour, that cannot be a changeup that he's throwing.
Well, and we kind of agreed with them. It can't be, but it is.
It is. And I think literally they would tell us that later that day after Schmidt finished that game. We don't see anybody like that in the American League.
Yep. Sandoval squibs one off the end of the bat. It rolls past Rodriguez, and Altuve will throw out the fellow countryman. It's 2 down. And that'll bring up Hector Sanchez.
You know, even thinking back to those Jason Schmidt games emphasizes how special last night was. Because Schmidt easily, either of those days, could have pitched a perfect game.
Well, he hit a stretch where every time he went out there, he had a shot at doing something really special. Hector Sanchez shoots one into left field, a base hit. Giants need a bloop and a blast here to get them thinking that they can get back into this game, and they very well can. This is only the 4th inning. Yeah, that is not how traffic looked this morning. That's the Bay Bridge.
It was a little nasty.
Yeah, it was a 4-letter word commute.
Giants game, U.S. Open, regular work day.
Bart shut down,
Bart.
and an accident on the Bay Bridge. I mean, all that does is just doesn't affect those areas. It affects every area. 1-0 to Belt. Belt takes a strike. He hit a ball into center field that was run down by Maxwell.
Hopefully most of our Giants fans made it here for first pitch through the traffic. I know some U.S. Open fans didn't make it when they were hoping to get over there.
Belt rolls his foul. I was telling John the Giants have 4 players that live in the East Bay, and they all had trouble getting here.
Yeah, that would have been worse than a fan or
me
you or I.
Yeah. Buster Posey needs to be here. Me, I don't. 1-2 pitch outside to Belt.
Belt may be one of those guys.
Belt's one of those guys. Jeremy Affeldt is over in that direction.
Me, I just moseyed on down California Street.
We weren't worried about you this morning. We were worried about you last night. I can just see the YouTube now. Broadcaster gone wild.
There were a few moments. Haven't seen any video yet. I'm hopeful.
This woman got dinged a little. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Belt hits one high, hits it deep. It is out of here. And he is now officially on a roll. Stay hot. Brandon Belt, his 3rd in as many days.
There's your bloop and your blast.
There it is. And now everybody thinks they're back in it, including me. Oh, you think it was hittable? Let's look. A little bit of a hanger. And he's got that short, compact swing. As this is bounced up the middle, Altuve with a nice play to take a hit away from Arias. Belt hits one over the arcade. It's bye-bye, baby. It's 5-2 Astros.
Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by McGraw Power Sports. Genuine motorcycle insurance for over 30 years. Ride with the real deal.
Here at the ballpark that's filled with people again. It's the Astros 5 and the Giants 2. As Brandon Belt sparks everybody. So here to tell you about innings 5 and 6. Broadcaster gone wild. Dave Fleming.
Brandon Belt's going a little wild himself at the moment. Home runs in 3 consecutive games, and I think it's safe to say Brandon Belt is doing what he can do at the moment to just lock down that first base job. Here is Altuve, top of the order for the Astros against Zito. This is where Zito had his big problem in the 3rd. And important for the Giants and Zito to have a quality inning here, because they do have a feeling, as Kipe said, that they're back in this game. Altuve takes a strike. By the way, we saw that splash hit counter, Kipe, and officially that one did make it into San Francisco Bay on the fly.
We were waiting, and the folks who determined that saw the replay, and it's a water shot.
The splash hit committee. Here's a ground ball. Diving Arias, but he's not going to have a play. Infield hit for Altuve. Well, Brandon Belt, we were talking about his home run in the 4th, and watch it fly. through the little water cannons and straight into San Francisco Bay. Not his first. He had one here last September.
How can you I'm changing the subject here.
Yeah.
How can you possibly throw a perfect game with Altuve in the lineup?
That's true. Altuve, and that I think was probably the most challenging part of that game for Kane. At least challenging spot in the lineup. Altuve, he struck him out all 3 times.
Yep.
Maybe that's how you do it. Just don't let him put the ball in play. Although that's easier said than done.
My goodness, what a pest.
2 singles and a walk already today against Zito. So he's perfect in his own way so far today. He's at first there. And Bixler the hitter. Zito's going to have to pay attention to Altuve, who can run. He's got 11 steals this year. That's where that 7th inning, where Blanco made the catch. It was the top of the order for, in theory, the last time if the game stayed perfect. Schaefer hit the ball where Blanco made his great catch, but then it was Altuve and Lowry.
Yep.
And it did. I mean, it felt like to a lot of us here that those were the critical hitters. Get through that top of the order, and Matt Cain, even with 6 outs to go, and certainly not easy, had a great chance to do it. Zito misses again. Giants bullpen is going. Zito, I don't think the Giants are going to let Zito get into the same kind of jam that he got himself in the 3rd when he walked 3 and served up the grand slam. The big hit of the game was from J.D. Martinez. Astros and the Giants each have 4 hits, but it's 5-2 Houston. Bixler foul tipped one. Might have helped him out there. Two and 1 here to Bixler, who walked and scored a run on that grand slam. He lines one into left field. That's a base hit. Another pitch left up from Zito. Altuve will have to stop at second. 2 on, nobody out. Let's go down and check in with Amy G.
All right, Dave. Well, Matt Cain pitched a perfect game, and Buster Posey called one. And we give you a complete recap of last night's events. It's a Buster Nose Squat. It's available right now on csnbayarea.com. Brought to you by GoPro cameras. And I just want the fans to know, Dave and Dwayne, that this almost didn't happen. Buster and I both caught in that horrible traffic this morning, but he made time to do it. Gamer, csnbayarea.com, Buster Nose Squat.
Yeah, Buster was one of those.
There he is.
Bet you he's a tired pup.
I think so, although he was still beaming last night when we talked to him after the game. Lowry pulls one, and a diving stop by Sandoval to second, and Terrio couldn't quite get off a throw. That had a chance to be a triple play.
Wow.
And yet the Giants will take the 2, a smash. That's how it happens, right? That very kind of play.
It has to be hit hard. It has to be right by the bag. And if this was a perfect throw by Sandoval, maybe, just maybe, and here you get a better idea as to when Terrio had it, how far down the line Lowry was. I think they had a shot.
I think a better throw, and the Giants would have just turned a triple play. I'm with you. And it's hard to blame Pablo. You're rushing. He got dropped down to his knees, has to stand up, step on the bag. A lot going on there. But that was not a very accurate throw, and a good one. I think the Giants get 3 outs. So here's Martinez, and that's a curveball for a ball.
It really would have been appropriate, because I don't know how many people probably have said the same to you or to me today at the park. Well, what's going to happen today?
How could you top that one?
Well, not that a triple play would, but come on, it is something that you don't see very often.
Sure. I'd take it. Changeup misses, so it's 2-0 to Martinez. You wonder how aggressive Zito wants to be. Well, there you go. So if he catches the perfect feed, it's going to be close, but there was definitely an opportunity. You could tell Terrio, he thought there was a chance. Zito catches the outside with that little slider or cutter. Terrio was You could see his reaction after the takeout slide, and he had to make sure he hung on to that throw. There's ball 3.
That looks like a pretty good pitch.
He knew there was an opportunity.
Yeah, Pablo had that grin like, yep, I know, if I had given you a little better throw.
Strike 2. Martinez thought it was ball 4.
Well, the pitch before that was same pitch.
Call the ball.
I mean, if you're Zito and Martinez has just hit a slam off of you, you struck out Maxwell, who's on deck, I would not throw this in the strike zone.
It's a big pitch here for Barry, and Martinez skies one down the left field line. Cabrera's got some room and fighting that sunshine. He makes the catch. Zito might have gotten away with one. Having some fun at the yard today. See if the Giants can keep their comeback going. 5-2 Houston.
Brought to you by Jack in the Box. Right now at Jack in the Box, you can try the new Chipotle Chicken Club. Make it a combo with fries and a drink.
Pinch hitter Emmanuel Burris for Barry Zito, and he took a strike. So Zito's day is over. 5 innings and 5 tough innings. Gives up 5 runs. Giants trail 5-2. So it'll be Burris, then Blanco and Terrio. Burris now in an 0-2 hole. Burris had a piece of the perfect game last night. He came in for Ryan Terrio, not in the very final innings, but came on in the midst of that game. Oh, 2 is a ball.
Well, you like to be a part of it, and even if it's in a very small way.
Burris on the ground to short. Jed Lowry for the out.
Well, hitting the road and can't watch the Giants on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. We'll take the Giants with you with MLB.TV. Subscribe to MLB.TV today and see every out-of-market Giants game live online in HD quality. Visit sfgiants.com to order. MLB.TV. Baseball everywhere.
So it's going to be Shane Lukes. That's who we'll see in the 6th inning. He was warming up earlier a couple different times actually in this one. Zito's afternoon is over. Blanco backed away and takes that curveball for a ball.
Giants need a bloop and a blast.
Last time my partner said that it absolutely happened.
Yep.
base hit home run in the fourth. Hector Sanchez and then Brandon Belt. There's ball 2. How about a walk and a blast? Did that count?
Walk and a blast. 2 walks and a blast. Or, like the Astros did it, 3 walks and a blast.
That one hurt Zito. There's ball 3. So Wandy Rodriguez in danger of walking Gregor Blanco. His pitch count is just at 75, but Rodriguez has had a hard time of late going deep into games. So we'll see maybe here in the 5th if the Giants, seeing him for the 3rd time now, can get something done. There's a high strike.
A lot of got milk signs.
There you are in the midst of that.
And the walk.
Pretty good group.
All right, our Chevron pitching matchups for tomorrow night's game in Seattle. It'll be Ryan Vogelsong against the lefty Jason Vargas. Vargas, a pretty good pitcher. Vogelsong has been terrific. Coverage will begin on NBC Bay Area at 7 p.m. Check us out. That's our Chevron pitching matchup.
Dodgers roughed up Jason Vargas last weekend, but you're right, 7 wins, and he has been good. Terrio taking strike 1 after the walk to Blanco. There you are. Look at that, right in the middle. Forget the thrill, Stretch, Mays, Kruk. Who's right in the center of that one?
It was an add-on. What are you talking about?
Oh, we forgot Kipe. Where can we stick him?
Put him in the middle. Put him where the bullseye's supposed to be.
There goes the runner Blanco. Castro's throw skips in and not handled by Altuve. It's a steal for Gregor Blanco, which you don't necessarily expect in a 5-2 game.
Not unless you know you can make it. So we got the horse, we got Kruk, we got the water buffalo, we got the panda, we got the freak, thrill, we got Stretch, we got the baby giraffe, we got the say hey kid, and we got just me, just being me.
Kipe. You didn't need a nickname. Pretty good company, I'd say.
Yeah, it's a good team.
Well, Blanco stole his way into scoring position, so he's out there at second. Terrio has had a lot of history against Wandy Rodriguez and has hit the ball hard twice in this game. 1 for 2 with a double. Chance to knock in a run here, which would be a big run. That one is inside off the plate. And the Milkman is waiting on deck. He'll be next. There he is. Anytime these days the Giants can build a rally and get Melky Cabrera up, that's a good thing.
Get people on. You're right.
Terrio kind of slaps that one to the right side. Altuve for out number 2. Blanco moves to third. Well, if you did miss last night's perfect game or just want to relive it, re-airing tonight at 7:30 and again next Thursday. That's June 21st at 7:30 also, right here on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area.
Perfect time. Set your TiVo, set your DVR, then you got it.
And you can just go to your settings and say save forever. Never have to take that one away. So we hope you do relive that tonight, and then next Thursday, 7:30 both times. There's a guy who had a huge part in last night. I thought one of the neatest parts of the whole thing was Matt Cain telling us after the game, and we asked him a couple times, so wait a minute, you never shook off Buster Posey one time? And Cain said no, not one time in 125 pitches.
Never.
Melky Cabrera, a chance to knock in a run here. Runner at third. That's Blanco.
Well, think about this. Because it's a perfect game, how particular you have to be on 3-2 counts.
Yeah.
If it's a game where an error has been made or a walk, you can bounce a 3-2 pitch. But you can't do that in a perfect game. And there was one example. I think Lowry had a 3-2 count, and Posey and Kane threw him a changeup that was not a strike, and he swung and missed. So I think that's what tired Buster out. There were concentration on that.
There were a bunch of those. Cabrera bounces it to third. Johnson throws him out, and the Giants don't score. Blanco is stranded. On to the sixth here in San Francisco. 5-2 Astros.
Here's our Geico quote of the game. George Brett on golf. I was 3 over. 1 over a house, 1 over a patio, and 1 over a swimming pool.
He's a funny guy.
It's actually a pretty good line.
It is.
5-2 Houston.
What a day.
When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change tune-up and smog experts. We're looking at Shane Lukes. And Lukes is facing Justin Maxwell.
So the Giants, who were down 5-0, Zito done for the afternoon. Maxwell now a 5-2 Astros lead, taking a ball from Lukes. There are the numbers. He's done a pretty good job. He's only pitched in 6 games, and he's been up for a while. But when the Giants have asked him to soak up some innings, he's been able to do that. That one was just a bit outside. Now there's Mr. Kane himself.
I do believe that he will have a nice flight to Seattle, and he will sleep well tonight in Seattle.
He didn't sleep much last night, you know that. He was here lifting weights at 9:30 this morning. Arias scooped it nicely and snapping a throw off for the out. Well, the Giants are headed on the road, but when the Giants come back home, part of the homestand, Giants and the Reds, the 28th through July 1st. And the highlight of the weekend, the reunion of the 2002 Giants. So many great members of that team are going to be back here at the ballpark. Saturday, the first 25,000 fans, a bobblehead presented by Chevron Extra Mile. Then Sunday, the actual team reunion itself, and their tickets online at sfgiants.com. And a whole lot of guys from that 2002 World Series team are going to be back.
Yep. All the fun ones.
Did you get the text messages from Woody the other night? We talked about it. My phone started vibrating within about 10 seconds.
Woody's lost my number.
If I give it to him, you'll be getting those messages.
No, I'm okay with him having lost my number.
Got it. Lukes. Ball 1. Johnson's 0 for 2. Maybe feeling a bit left out. Although the Astros, it's not like it's been a hit parade. They have 5 runs on 5 hits, 1 swing of the bat. was the big one in this game, a grand slam in the third by J.D. Martinez. Luke's, that slider is moving right now. He's throwing it to the opposite batter's box.
I think the one guy that is a little iffy is Rob Nen. And, you know, he was one of my guys.
Yeah, we would really miss out if Rob can't make it here.
Love Rob Nen.
A guy who sort of gave his career for that 2002 run. And a guy who, even before that, when he was a free agent, basically demanded, hey, I want to be a Giant. I don't want to go anywhere else.
Told his agent to figure it out.
We got to get this done. I don't care how it gets done. So.
Well, I liked him before all that. And so did you.
Yeah.
But it just gives you an idea of what kind of a guy he was as a player, and now just a great husband and dad.
And a guy who is really fun to this day to talk ball with. He watches the Giants, pays attention to what's going on. Full count here. And that one is hit foul. But there are lots of those guys on that 2002 team. And maybe when they're here, they might sort of treat themselves around the ballpark. How about that? That's pretty good. That's our friend, the vendor down below, who has a way of blowing up the radio broadcast every now and then. He's pretty loud. Full count pitch and past the reach of Luke's. That was the only Giants chance to catch that one. It's a 1-out hit for Johnson. Remember a few years back, we had I think it was maybe it was 2 years ago, we had a 2000 team reunion, perhaps.
Yes.
And Bonds and Marvin Bernard, Sean Estes, JT, Kirk Reeder, Ellis Burks, they were all here. And there were some stories being told. Those guys hadn't seen each other in a while. I think we'll have a little of that dynamic going on. Good block by Sanchez just to keep it in the neighborhood with the runner at first and getting toward the bottom part of the order. You know, Johnson wants to be aggressive to try to get himself in scoring position, but Sanchez wouldn't let him.
Here's the block. The other guy, Dave, would be David Bell, and I know David's the Reds AAA manager, so it's very iffy if he would be here. But I mean, the 1 year he was with the Giants, what a great year it was.
No kidding. And he's doing really well. David Bell appears to be a future big league manager. Wow. Get ready for the America's Cup already. Out on San Francisco Bay. There could be the double play ground ball. Arias to Terrio to Belt. Downs hits into a pair. And Lukes has a scoreless 6. Part of the order coming up for the Giants. 5-2 Astros.
Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by Wendy's Chili Cheese Fries. Now that's a better way to satisfy your late night hunger cravings. Wendy's, better later.
Beautiful day in San Francisco. Astros 5, Giants 2. Giants with a win here can sweep this 3-game series before heading away from the city by the bay. Hard to leave.
It is, although the city they're going to is pretty good.
Yeah, Seattle looks a lot like San Francisco in some ways. Don't have the Golden Gate Bridge, though. No U.S. Open being played in Seattle this weekend.
Yeah, that's true.
Pretty good view. Just to the left of there, around the corner, around the coast, is where the golf tournament's going on. Angel Pagan is leading off for the Giants here. Count of 1-1 to Pagan. It's the 4, 5, 6 hitters. No Posey today, so Pagan has moved into that cleanup spot. Dr. Sanchez batting 6th. We'll also see him in this 6th inning. And Wandy Rodriguez, the Giants could make him work here. They might be able to get him out of the game, at least get into the Astros bullpen for the 7th inning. He's thrown 89 pitches now. Pagan, a pop-up. Downs, out of room. 2-2. It should be gorgeous up in Seattle over the weekend. Copper River salmon season, full swing.
Yep.
The market.
Only about 3 or 4 blocks from our hotel.
Yeah. Pike Place. We'll be down there. Pagan smashed one foul. He's done that about 4 times in this game. Looking to take out Ted Barrett, the third base umpire, who himself was part of history last night. First umpire ever to be behind the plate for a second perfect game. He called balls and strikes for David Cohn's perfect game more than a decade ago. 2-2 in the dirt. When we were walking out of the ballpark after the game, the umpires were out around the mound and taking some pictures after the perfect game on the mound. And Matt Cain later came out and had some pictures with his wife, with some friends.
And the grounds crew.
And the grounds crew. The grounds crew is digging up that pitching rubber, the pitcher's plate, and presumably to send it off to Cooperstown. Three and 2 to Angel Pagan. And he hits one into right center field. That's a base hit. So Pagan, who puts pressure on the defense with his hustle, aggressive turnaround first, but he holds on with a leadoff single. Here it is late last night. Authenticating and then going to work. So that they know that's the actual game used. That's what it looks like when you dig it up. And I'm assuming that one is headed to upstate New York.
Probably.
Or maybe to a spot here in the ballpark.
Could be in Greg Elliott's garage right now.
Could be. Pablo Sandoval takes a ball. Well, this is a chance here for the Giants. Still with lots of outs to play with.
Sammer was there until midnight shooting the grounds crew. That's what he likes to do, shoot the grounds crew.
Yeah, exciting footage. Oh, look, another pickaxe. There goes Pagan, and the ball is hit past the reach of Altuve, who has gone over to cover. So Pagan on the move, changed the defense. Sandoval takes advantage. And here come the Giants, first and third, nobody out.
Well, with Pagan running, this almost forced Altuve to run right into the line drive, and it turned out that it was behind Altuve. Either way, whether Pagan is running or not, that was going to be a base hit. But it nearly was a disaster for the Giants.
Almost. So by a matter of inches, the Giants avoid a double play and have a real rally going with 2 on and nobody out. And the Astros bullpen is going to get heated up now. Right-hander Rodriguez beginning to throw. Here's a ball skied to left center field. Should be plenty deep enough to get Pagan home. Martinez makes a catch, and Angel Pagan will tag and score. And it's a 2-run game. Hector Sanchez with the sacrifice fly.
Well, a base hit would have been better. A sacrifice fly gets the run in. And now you've got the guy that has been finding the bleachers a lot over the last 3 games. You got him coming up.
We wouldn't have said this a few days ago necessarily, but this may well be the guy the Giants want up right now. Brandon Belt is locking it in, and he takes the ball. Belt has homered in each game of this series. Giants hadn't hit a home run in a month here at home. Maybe it's the shoes.
The slippers.
As Spike Lee used to say. Belt bounced that one, though, and it could be a pair. Altuve, the backhand to second, and it's a double play. So not this time. John will come back over and join Kipe here on the telecast. 5-3 Houston.
Perfect game from last night all day, and you got to give props to Gregor Blanco. Every single person had to be perfect, including him in the 7th inning when he made an almost impossible catch. I talked to him about it today. He said he knew it was hit hard right off the bat. He thought he might not be able to get to it, but he dug deep. He said he reached out and he barely had it in his glove. He hung on for dear life, got up, told himself, you did it for Matt. Nice job by Gregor Blanco. And Matt Cain apparently offered him a car and a house too. Unbelievable.
Yep.
Someone had to tell Matt what a great job Kipe did on the call.
That's exactly right. There's a few things I need.
Maybe a nice motorboat.
Here's Jason Castro, and he takes low.
State-of-the-art barbecuer.
All those. Just give me what's behind door number 3. 2 balls and no strikes to Castro. And this is hit on the ground to Terrio, and Terrio will make the play. 1 out. All right. Time for Subway. Ask Kipe and John. Visit csnbarea.com. Jeanette from Alameda wants to know, why do guys say on assignment when they get a long deserved vacation?
I don't think it's the guys themselves who say it. When they're gone, we say it.
Yeah. We actually say things because we're a little bit jealous.
Yeah. And we're sort of amused.
Yeah.
That we came up with something so clever.
It's great. It's the idea is that We're supposed to amuse each other, and we don't really care about the audience. Jordan Schaefer is going to pinch hit for Wandy Rodriguez.
Big pitch out. The Giants got him out of there earlier.
Slowly hit. Arias charging. Arias throwing. One pitch. Schaefer retires.
That's his position. Arias came up as a shortstop. He hardly ever played third base. Even in the spring, he only played third a couple of times, and the Giants didn't really like what they saw when he played third during the spring. But it sort of belies the fact that he's looked like a Gold Glover most of the time at third. But this is his position, and he looks really smooth and really confident when he plays. And you saw it right there, that on the run, and while still in the run, making that snap throw over there.
He really does do a lot of things well when he's on the move.
I think that's his best place to be when he makes a throw.
Altuve takes a strike. He's been on base 3 times. The one time he scored, it was a 1-out walk. Then Zito walked Bixler, he walked Lowry, and then Martinez hit the grand slam. Low, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Arias had been playing third base every day for most of the time that Pablo was out with his after his surgery. And then when Pablo got back, he was on assignment for a couple of days.
Yes, he was. Arias on a sharp ground ball, and Shane Lukes with 3 ground balls for the Giants. Arias, a pinch hitter, and Blanco coming up. Now it's time for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. Take a look at some still shots from the memorable game last night. The catch by Melky Cabrera, the mini celebration for Kane after the catch, and then the great play by Blanco. I mean, great play. Matt Cain was so impressed he called it a touchdown. And this was Brandon Belt as he caught the final throw from Arias, and then the hug. And it was just all in great fun. Coors Light Freeze Can brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. And today, Matt Cain on assignment.
And will be until Monday.
On it's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune Up, your oil change tune up and smog experts. So the new pitcher is a lefty, Wesley Wright, as he throws to Joaquin Arias. There's the numbers for Wesley Wright. Giants saw Wright on Tuesday night, and he gave up 2 runs in an inning on 3 hits. And there's a strike, I believe. Belt. That's right. Belt hit the home run off of Wright.
Yeah, hit it over the wall in right field, and it bounced into the bay.
Yes, he did. This is skied out to right center field. On the move now is Bixler, and Bixler had to pick it up a little bit, and he will track it down. So Arias is retired.
Aerial coverage here from AT&T Park, brought to you by Hangar 1, made here in California in an actual aircraft hangar.
Nate Scherholtz will pinch hit.
Posey had been out on deck when Arias was up there. It was as if Posey were going to bat only if Arias got on base.
So Nate Scherholtz playing and swinging the bat a lot better over the last week. He will step up with a .261 average. And he takes a strike. Blanco to follow.
Wesley Wright has been a busy man. This is the Astros' 63rd game, and it is the 34th of those games that he has appeared in.
Chopped to Altuve. 2 outs. And here's Blanco.
Wright's on pace to appear in, what, 95 games or some such thing. Busy man.
Busy man. There's usually one in the bullpen that gets used and used a lot.
I think some are a little bit worried that when he gave up that home run to Belk the other night, that maybe he didn't have quite the snap on his pitches that he had earlier this year.
Well, here's Blanco. Blanco is 0 for 2. He drew a walk, stole a bag in the 5th. Josh Reddick has just homered for the A's, his 15th, and they lead the Rockies 5-0. That game is in the 8th inning. And you talk about hard times for the Colorado Rockies. It is now. And the 0-1 to Blanco, and Blanco bounces it to short. Lowry gets rid of it quickly, and that'll end the inning. So nice quick inning for Wesley Wright, and we will head to the 8th.
Upper deck? No way!
Toyota game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Well, the big hit in the game, J.D. Martinez, with the bases loaded on 3 walks, hit a grand slam in the 3rd inning. Juan Rodriguez survived by allowing 3 earned runs in 6 innings. Fritz Belt has got another home run, and Hector Sanchez is 1 for 2 of the sacrifice fly. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change tune-up and smog experts. Clay Hensley will be into the ball game. Hensley last pitched on Tuesday, and you see his record 2-3 with a 2.59 ERA.
And he throws the first pitch strike to Brian Bixler. 41,662, the paid crowd. The 119th consecutive sellout here at AT&T Park. A ball and a strike now. They passed 1.4 million in home attendance here last night. Now at 1,453,000 plus 35 home dates. So they are on pace for about 3.3 million plus this year. Off the outside for a ball. And the look in the city from the blimp, and there's the ballpark. Momo's across the street there behind the left field corner.
We work here.
This is where we get paid to go.
Yeah, isn't it great?
Not bad.
Not bad.
And there's McCovey Cove right behind right field. One of the unique features of baseball here in San Francisco since this ballpark opened. That one is back into the crowd, deep down the left field line. 3-2. Bixler has grounded out, walked, and singled. This ballpark, I think when people see it on television, especially back east, who have never been here and have never seen it before, are amazed when they see the pictures come out of here on a day like today. Well, it's a leadoff walk to Bixler. Giants are going on the road after this game. And they'll be on the road for a while. When they get back, the first place Dodgers, they're in first place now, will come in for the first time. The Giants Dodgers, the ancient rivalry, renewed a week from Monday, the 25th, for 3. And 2 night games on Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday the 27th, a 12:45 matinee. sfgiants.com. Tickets available, but get them quickly would be my advice. That's a strike to the switch hitting Jed Lowry, and he's batting from his strong side. He's hitting more than 100 points higher left-handed than right-handed. Jed Lowry, pretty good pickup by the Astros, at least it seems so right now. He's hit more homers than any other shortstop in the majors, leading the Astros in that category. The Red Sox for a long time thought he was going to be a good one, but he had a hard time staying healthy. And they finally let him go, really for his depth in their bullpen. Mark Melanson, who is not even in the big leagues right now.
Yeah, that really hurts when the guy that you get back is a bit of a flop.
And the guy you gave up is doing extremely well.
Fans have a way of reminding everybody of that.
And the Red Sox, I'm sure, if they knew what was going to happen the way it has transpired, wouldn't have made that deal. Lowry, closed up stance. Sandoval going after this one, but it is well back in amongst the customers. Out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I think I was doing the innings yesterday with Dave, and when you look at Lowry in his stance, it's the old time stance. It's a stance that 60 to 70% of the players that I played with and against, that's the type of stance they had. And then everybody started to open up a little bit.
There goes the runner. Ground ball to second. Terrio will have to go to first. He looked at second, but Bixler was in. So Lowry is gone, but moves the runner up. And the cleanup man, J.D. Martinez, will come up. It's a cool looking stance, that closed up stance.
Kind of is.
I remember Charlie Lau was sort of a hitting guru going back into the 70s.
Very much so.
And we started seeing more guys off the plate, opened up a little bit.
Like Brett.
George Brett was the classic case. A Hall of Famer.
Yep.
J.D. Martinez, and he's had the big hit of the day. The grand salami back in the 3rd inning. Fastball for a strike from Hensley. Runner in scoring position, 1 out. 5-3 now. The Astros, who had led 5-0 after the grand slam in the 3rd inning, now with just a 2-run lead. But Hensley trying to keep it that way. The Astros have action in their bullpen, as do the Giants. That curve is in the dirt. This is the play, the big fateful pitch in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, watch the location. Up, and Martinez, who doesn't take much of a stride, got the barrel out, and it was not a cheapie.
Halfway up, at least into the bleachers. Pretty good shot. And that curve is low. A check swing. No swing, says Angel Campos, the first base umpire, on the appeal. In the Astros bullpen, they've got Fernando Rodriguez, big right-hander, warming up. The Giants have action in their pen as well. There's Fernando Rodriguez. Runner at second, 1 out. That one didn't go where he wanted it to go, but in for a strike on the inside. Jeremy Affeldt, the left-hander, up in the Giants bullpen. Mark Gardner, the former Giant right-hander, the bullpen coach, sort of like a second pitching coach too. Works with the bullpenners out there with him. 2-2. Up the middle, not hit hard. Arias covers up. 2 down with Bixler going to 3rd. If you missed the perfect game last night, you've heard all about it. You're thinking, man, I wish I'd seen it. Well, you can see it tonight at 7:30, and also next Thursday on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Special re-airing of the classic game. It will not be in your channel guide for tonight, by the way. Don't be alarmed. The game will still be there, but it won't be listed. Ooh, the big slow curveball that Roy Oswalt taught him. Strike 1 swinging to Justin Maxwell. Well, we can't watch it. We're going to Seattle.
But we do have that MLB package.
You think it will show something like that?
It goes back to any.
Oh, you could go back. You could access it.
Yep.
Ooh. Little known part of that special app.
See, I think the 4 of us should get some room service and watch it again.
Okay. What'd you guys do? Yeah, we had a lot of room service set up and sat and watched ourselves do that perfect game.
We were so impressed with ourselves.
Turned the sound down. Base hit. Pablo gave it all he had, but it was not reachable. And Maxwell drives in a big run. That leadoff walk has turned into a run. The walks have killed the Giants today. Bixler scores, and it is 6-3 Houston.
I think it was a hanging breaking ball that just got past the diving Sandoval, and that's a big run. Sandoval gave it an effort, but no chance.
So here comes Chris Johnson. Runner at first, a run in. 6-3 Houston in the 8th. Maxwell, who runs well, just back in time at first ahead of Belt's tag. When you make a dive, when you're an infielder and you leap out like that, the camera just keeps on going to follow the ball into left field. What happens to you?
Yeah, it's better when you dive for a ground ball than a line drive because you land much harder. I mean, that was a shoulder high line drive, so you got to dive that high, and you hit and you end up bouncing. Look at this. So you got to break the fall a little bit and a little chin burner for the Panda.
So if it's a ground ball, it's down. You make the dive, but it's a low dive.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to use a whole lot of landing gear. When you go high like Sandoval just did, that hurts. You bounce.
But we usually just see it while he's in the air.
Yep, that's right.
That ball is smoked to left field, but with topspin and caught by the Milkman. A big run for the Astros. Chariot, Cabrera, Pagan coming up.
Preparations for the America's Cup have begun, and yesterday the skipper of the Giants was invited to join the Oracle team racing crew on their boat. He went on, had to put on a helmet, he even wore a camera. You'll be able to see footage of it soon. We talked with Bruce about the ride. He said it's not your normal boat ride. This ride you don't get to enjoy a glass of white wine. He said at times he hung on for dear life. It's interesting being on a catamaran, maybe up on one pontoon at a 45-degree angle. You're not going anywhere. He didn't move, but really enjoyed the ride. Gentlemen?
He said it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yep. It was great.
Here's Ryan Theriot, new pitcher. Fernando Rodriguez in for the Astros. Last of the 8th. 6-3 the score.
When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts.
Rodriguez 1-6 in 26 games. Just about a strikeout per inning. And it's 0-2.
Also about a half a walk per inning, so you can wait him out a little bit.
Double switch. Brian Bogusevic goes into play right field, and he'll hit in the 9th spot. Bixler is out, and Rodriguez is slotted in the number 2 position. And it back out of play. That fastball at 94 miles an hour. The Theriot, who has doubled, lined out to center, and grounded out to second. He's 1 for 3. Melky Cabrera on deck. Angel Pagan due up third. .262 average for Theriot. Trying to get the Giants started. Down by 3. They need to get men on base. Lowry, 1 away. The Astros bullpen has become sort of a tight-knit group. Brett Myers, a longtime Major League starter, has become the closer this year. And Rodriguez is the setup man today. And there is Myers, starting to do some stretching in anticipation of a save opportunity upcoming. But Myers has dubbed the Astros bullpen group the Regulators. And I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
We're the Regulators. Here's Melky Cabrera, and it's down and away, ball one. Who was it? I remember your old teammate in Cleveland had a little club. It wasn't about the bullpen. It was just about the guys who didn't play. John Lowenstein. What, the apathetic club? Or?
Yep. Well, yeah, he was the king of apathy.
He was a bench guy, and
good guy.
He made light of it.
Good guy.
Brother Lowe. That's a strike on the outside. John Lowenstein one time got called up to pinch hit when he was in Baltimore by Earl Weaver against a left-hander. And he went up and struck out on 3 pitches. Came back very angrily in the dugout, put his bat in the rack, walked over to Earl and says, "Don't ever do that to me again." And that's back to the screen. He was a platoon guy. And Earl walked over to him and apologized and said he never would do it again.
Well, he really liked the whole apathy part of what was going on in Cleveland. He picked a game where he knew there wasn't going to be very many people. He said, well, let's see how many people on my behalf show up on apathy night.
Melky with a ground ball to Altuve. 2 down.
Well, the AT&T UVerse Sportsnet Central will be tonight at 6 on Comcast Sportsnet. Bay Area, Brody Brazil, Scott Reese. The reactions to this game, U.S. Open highlights, and a full report on Tigers' first round.
Well, here is Angel Pagan now. 1 for 3 in this game. So the Bay Area, the center of the golf world for the next several days.
Very much so.
It's a bunt, but it goes foul. The third baseman, Johnson, came rushing in.
And it really did take a perfect game to knock it off the front page of the newspaper this morning.
The KNBR, most of their shows during the day are emanating from the Olympic Club at the tournament. And I heard Murph and Mack went on with them this morning on KNBR, and they were kind of apologizing to all the listeners.
Right.
Because they said, hey, the Open is kind of dropped out of our consciousness here for a time because of Matt Cain. Fan made the catch in the seats there. He thought this was Orange Friday.
Oh, yeah.
No perfect game today, but a perfect play by that fan. Probably changes his life now forever.
Could be.
He's the man who caught the foul ball. And that's going to be another souvenir.
Well, not only caught it, but he might have saved injury to the beautiful woman sitting next to his left. Oh, yeah, very popular.
He's the man who caught the foul ball. I could see he probably this time next year he'll have a restaurant. That ball will be in the trophy case up front when you first come in.
You missed the trip to Milwaukee where very similar to that. Guy caught it, did a little celebration. An inning later, caught another one.
No.
Same guy caught 2.
Which is not. It's not good for those of us who went years and years and never caught one at all.
That's right.
One and 2.
Yeah. It's your cotton candy.
Had friends that they brought their kids to their first game, and the kids were saying long before they ever got here, I want cotton candy. They'd seen it on TV. Then they actually had some cotton candy. It was like,
can you get it off my hand? It's better than pine tar.
It's more like a marketing scheme, isn't it?
My goodness.
Oh, the high fastball, and he chased it. Strong inning for Fernando Rodriguez. 6-3, Houston. of comprehensive team coverage all this week on NBC, the Golf Channel, and Comcast. Sportsnet, golf's greatest players are all in town at the Olympic Club. And no one has coverage like the networks of NBC Sports. Live coverage of the event on NBC, in-depth previews and recaps on the Golf Channel, and comprehensive local coverage every night on Chronicle Live. Sportsnet Central and sports reports on NBC Bay Area from Comcast Sportsnet. It's the ninth inning, 6-3. The Astros leading. Affeldt is in. Here's Dwayne Kuiper.
All right, it'll be Matt Downs, the former Giant, who on the first pitch rolls one to Belt, and on one pitch, Downs is retired. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change tune-up and smog experts. One of the great things about Kane, you see the numbers for Affeldt yesterday, is I didn't have to read any of those. No Speedy with Kane.
We sort of didn't need him?
Nope. Sorry, Speedy, but
didn't even need to bring him out. They just kept him in the locker.
Yep. Here's Jason Castro. And Castro has to move his feet. And it's 1 ball and no strikes.
I really like the story about how Bochy, because of the pitch count, thought, you know, there may be a time he'll give up a hit and then we want to just get him out of there. But I don't want to have somebody warming up.
Nope.
So he had Shane Lukes warm up in the tunnel in the batting cage underneath the stands near the clubhouse. He said he always knew that was possible to do that, but managing a team over in Japan when some Major League All-Stars have gone over there in the past, that's a regular part of the game over there.
Wow.
You don't know who's up in their bullpen. The bullpens themselves are under the stands, out of sight. So Kane never realized that Lukes was warming up, and he even asked. He says, "Were you ever going to get somebody up just in case?" He said, "No, I had somebody all. He was up and he was ready,
all taken care of." See the 8th and 9th for Matt Kane. 11 pitches. The 6th he threw 10. Castro swings and misses. It's 2-2.
Both bullpens are working hard right now. Affeldt pitches here in the 9th.
Well, it was one of those games where there was just a lot going on.
Cantos up in the Giants bullpen, the right-hander. There certainly was.
He got him. 2 outs.
I wonder if you do what Bochy did last night, you have Lukes warming up underneath out of sight, if you have to tell the other team about it.
No.
So you could just routinely do that as a secret to not let the other team know what you're thinking.
I believe you can.
Got some autographs on that back.
Here's Bogusevic. Bogusevic on the first pitch drives it into right field for a base hit.
There's Bogusevic, who would like to play every day, stating his case. So I'm no platoon guy.
He went 0 for 3 against Kane last night. And here's Altuve.
Houston's bullpen has the closer, Brett Myers, warming up. There's Matt Kane the day after.
For Kane, it will not be sleepless in Seattle tonight. It'll be sleeping good in Seattle tomorrow night. I think maybe that's the case for all of us. I don't think a lot of us got a whole lot of sleep last night. It was a late night, and by the time you pack.
Plus, there's just a lot of, I think everybody who was here was wired.
Oh, the energy was amazing. Altuve dumps one into right center field. Blanco now throws in and puts it away. So the bottom of the 9th coming up. It'll be Sandoval, Sanchez, and Belt. 3 to tie, 4 to go home.
Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, part of the NBC Sports Group. And we're at AT&T Park, and the Giants need something big here, trailing 6-3, heading to the last of the ninth. And Brett Myers, the closer, has come in for the Astros.
And it's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. See the numbers in save situations. He's been very good. And as John mentioned, the Giants faced Myers many times, but those many times he was a starter.
Almost looks like, and he had years where he was excellent as a starter, but somehow he's even that much better as a closer.
Here's Sandoval, who looks at one wide, 1 ball and no strikes. Sandoval singled in the 6th inning off of Wandy Rodriguez. He's 1 for 3. And that pitch hits the outside corner to even the count. Myers has got a good fastball, but he's also got a very sharp curveball. Sandoval got a good pitch, and he took a good swing. It's 1-2. Myers stands out there a little bit like Rod Beck used to. The late Rod Beck, who left us too soon. So Sandoval trying to reach for Hector Sanchez. And he will, as he flips this one into left field. That's the beauty of Sandoval. You think that you made a good pitch? Well, maybe you didn't. That was almost like the Zito swing we saw in Zito's first at bat. Watch this.
It's almost like Sandoval watched Zito and said, you know, I could do that, but I could do it a lot better.
Yeah, I'm going to swing just a little harder. Just kind of chopped at it. And that'll drive a pitcher crazy. Here's Hector Sanchez, who's 1 for 2.
That swing looks a lot like a cricket player.
It does.
Swinging at a pitch with the paddle.
It absolutely does. There's that big breaking ball, 1-0. Belt to follow. Posey walking around, getting loose, grabbing a bat. He'll get his helmet pretty soon. 1-0 to Sanchez. Sanchez, and it's knocked down by Downs. That's 1, and that's 2. Unbelievable. So had Downs caught it, the Giants would have been all right. But once he knocked it down, it's turned into a double play.
Downs took his glove off his hand after the play was over, started shaking his hand. So this one hurt. Great diving stab of the ball, but to the Astros' benefit, not a catch. And Pablo was caught in betwixt and in between. Needed to go back to first, and all of a sudden he saw the ball pop loose, and then there was nowhere really for him to go.
So here's Belt. Well, stay tuned for the post-game wrap. That's coming up, and Mike will also talk about the game with Murph and Mac tomorrow morning in Seattle on KMBR 680. Belt flips one out to left field, and Martinez will track it down, and that's the ball game. So the final game of the series goes to Houston, and the Giants trying to get the sweep, and once they fell behind on the grand slam, it was a little tough going to catch up.
Well, they've had 13 of the last 16 games played here at home, and they did well overall, but I think they would like to have done better today because they got a long trip now ahead of them in American League parks.
And that'll start out tomorrow night in Seattle. Final score here at AT&T Park: the Astros 6 and the Giants 3. Stay tuned. Esurance Giants post-game live with interviews and the wrap starts right now. Thanks for watching Giants baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, part of the NBC Sports Group.